I will start 4 lines at the end, the fourth line from the top of the second section on page Kuf Yud Zayin. The line begins with the word Ba'ilomis. At the end of that line, this is Kodesh is pronounced by the Srofim. Srofim is a category of Malachim that are described as Srofim. Srofim means burnt, because they get burnt up in their profound, powerful desire to rise upwards. Like fire rises upwards. And at the end of that line, they have this will to be incorporated and be one with the Oir Yisayv. Al Yidei as a result of Hasogosam, of their comprehension, Shemasigim, that they comprehend Eich, they comprehend the reality of this. We want to discuss the word Eich. They comprehend the actual reality of this. That the Oil Chayas that impacts the world, the Oil Chayas that impacts the world is only Ha'ora. And we explained yesterday the meaning of the word Ha'ora. What is that referred to? Ha'ora means the result, the effect of oil, not the actual oil, the effect of the oil. Like we said in the Moshel, just very briefly, that a home with the presence of the host is a real home. In absence of the home, it's a ha'ora, with his original presence leaves an effect on this. This is what the Srofim get burnt up. And furthermore, the Atzmus, Oir Yisayv, and they also comprehend, they also recognize that the Atzmus Oir Yisayv, the Etzem of Oir Yisayv, Kodesh Umuvdo, is holy and separate. Kodesh means remote and moving and separate from this Ha'ora, from this worldly level of Ha'ora. It would behoove us for us to focus into this. What's the point of this? What is this? What does this describe? What is the inference in this? To explain it directly is impossible, as we know, which is Kodesh. But in a kind of a periphery, in some kind of perspective can be opened up to understand what this is about. In our world, We essentially live with our experiences. This is on an extremely simple level. One of the experiences that we have for example, a person is hungry and he satisfies his hunger by eating a morsel of food. That calms him down. That gives him a feel of well-being. Especially if the food is tasty, he enjoys the taste of the food. These small enjoyments, this bring out in a person an element of experience of life. Only a living thing can appreciate the taste of food clearly. And therefore, that alludes to the fact that he is alive and that he can experience this. Now, we all understand that it's quite folly to say that what is the impetus, what is the force behind his will to live, that he can experience a tasty piece of food. This is not praiseworthy of a human being at all. What then is in this experience of life that you say a person really wants to live? Life is the most precious thing that he can possibly come by. There is something remote, there's something profound, something real about life, the realization of life, which is beyond the experience, the moral level of experience. Life gives a person the sense that there is something way beyond world. And we all understand this is something which is commonly recognized, even in the outside world, that to preserve a life, even for a moment, is of tremendous significance. There's some kind of a reality that life brings along with it. What is this reality? And when we focus in and try to explain, there's no way. Seichel is just not capable of grasping this.
So, from the mashal of the hungry person who eats tasty food, he enjoys the food. So you said this alludes that he's alive, but now we're switching to the real notion of life. In other words, this allusion to life is below what you're trying to explain now.
Allusion to life is higher.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Starting from the bottom up, the taste of food.
Yeah.
Right? Taste of food. You enjoy the taste of food. The experience of taste of food for to a human being is way beyond the taste of food. It wakes him up to the fact that, hey, I have something which is beyond worldly experience. This is the actual recognition of being alive. And this being alive is impossible for us. Seichel is just has no way of describing it. We sense it, we live with it, but there's no way Seichel can describe it. Which is higher than Seichel. Just to give us, so to speak, an in. What are we talking about? If Seichel does not understand it, so what do you know about it? How is that so enticing? How is that so significant if we don't know what it is? This is what the Rebbe is pointing out. The mufla, the recognition of something which is beyond the experience, the world level of experience, or the low level of understanding of the scripture. As I mentioned many times, the Rambam begins his sefer by saying that the foundation of all foundations and the principle of Chokhmah is to know that there is a first being. We explained many times this first being concept. First being alludes or refers to something we cannot grasp. We cannot understand at all what is it doing here, how is it there, how come it's there. It precedes all questions. It's a first being. This first being is something that the Rambam says we know about it. Later, he's talking about the expression of the Rambam. The Rambam says the first principle is to know that there is a first being. He does not say to understand that there is a first being. How do you get to know without first understanding? The answer is, indeed, understanding you will never get to. But you can know that it is so. And I'd like to take us into that realm for a moment. We know, do I have you with me? Mm-hmm. In the faculties of the intellect, there are three levels: Chokhmah, Bina, and Das. Chokhmah is that glorious insight that brings everything, the conceptualizing, brings everything from its source, and it's recognizing the glory of its source. Chokhmah. Bina is that which brings this down into a comprehensible level. What is it about? Identifying all kinds of different aspects in it. All that is followed by Das. What is Das? What kind of faculty is Das? The word Das means to know. To understand, we understand what it means. To know, I figured something out, I understand it. What is it? What does this Das mean? I know. The fact is, I got to know because I first understood. That's a Chokhmah Bina Das. So what is that different than Chokhmah Bina? Das is a phenomenal experience. Chokhmah, I understand, I conceptualize, I recognize, and there is something that's showing it to me. There's a basis for this knowledge. Bina, clearly there's a basis for the understanding of Bina. Das is not based on any proofs. Das touches the person, brings out in the person the reality of his being. It is not a functional faculty. It is the result of all intellectual faculties. Chokhmah itself, so Chokhmah is based on the recognition of Atzim. Chokhmah itself is based on the union that there is a first being. Das. Das comes after Chokhmah Bina in terms of it being realized, but actually it is the basis for Chokhmah Bina. If one did not recognize that there is a reality, he would not be able to relate to Chokhmah Bina. So Das refers to the reality itself before it is being understood. I know, but there's a first being. Because I know that now I can begin to decipher things.
So I don't understand how come that comes after Chokhmah and then the person is practicing it.
Okay, good question. And the answer is, there are two levels in Das. The conscious Das, and one may be called subconscious Das. Conscious Das means I know what I know. Motzi Rishin is not a knowledge that a person can count on, can say, I know. What do you know? This is a knowledge that's beyond knowledge, beyond the experience of knowledge. It is not the knowledge I know what I know and where I know it from. Normally knowledge, we spoke about the idea, this is something Mr. Abisha gave the human being. Knowledge, proper knowledge, has to have boundaries. This I know, and this I don't know. It has to be, so to speak, a circumscriber. What is it that I know? And how do I get to know it? That's knowledge. That's a conscious knowledge. This knowledge comes after Chokhmah Bina. It is an extremely powerful element. This is at the conclusion of Chokhmah Bina. Chokhmah Bina have to be substantiated. Whenever I think about Chokhmah, oh yeah, it's true because I have proof for it. Bina for sure. When it comes to Das, it is true because it is true. One does not recognize that he's alive or trust his life because he figures out and he has proof of it. No, it's a real thing. I said before, the other day, beyond question. It is much more real. It precedes the whole phenomenon of question and answer. That's Das. It is bringing forth a fundamental reality And this fundamental reality precedes Chokhmah, Rambam says. You have to know the motivation. Then you can have Chokhmah. Then you can have Bina, and then you can come to Das, to the conscious level of Das. In Das, especially when you say the upper level of Das, he knows the motivation. You know a truth that you cannot possibly understand. And you're not even trying to understand it. You don't need to understand it. It's real. I'm satisfied by knowing, this is what I want to know. There is reality. This is the Malachim, the Srafim, recognizing, realizing that that the reality, the divine reality, is fills the entire world with His glory, and this is just a ziv, just a reflection of His glory, of this fundamental reality. They get burnt up in this. Why do they get burnt up? Because they don't want to stay in the ziv and just in the reflection of it. They want to be in part of the reality itself. They burn up. They don't want to be outsiders, they want to be insiders. That's a sraf.
And then because they go inside, that's why they get burned up?
No, they get burnt up in their desire to be inside.
Why does it burn up?
What?
The desire.
Why does it burn them up?
Why do they get burned up? Because of the desire.
Because they're recognizing that this union is way beyond anything that they experience. Mufla.
But what does it mean that they get burned up? What does it say?
They get burnt up in their desire to relate to this. It is of such a powerful desire that their whole mitzias is nil. Nothing interests them.
Wow.
And this is ziv, we call it. This is just a shine, and this is what they recognize. Three lines from the bottom. Hareha masigim, the malachim, by recognizing and massing the ziv v'ha'ora. We explained the ziv v'ha'ora means the shine of it, the effect of this truth, not the truth itself, but the effect of this truth. Thereby they are massing, they get to comprehend, to recognize the whole principle of haflo. Haflo means remoteness. Like we mentioned, first being, we have no means of grasping what that means. It's a double mufla. Mufla means a completely outside of the realm of existence as we know it. In the middle of that line, 3 lines of they recognize eich. The word eich again, how. And I think many times the Rebbe uses the word eich and not asher. Not that he is mufla, but they recognize eich shehu mufla. The how, the actual phenomenon of being mufla. To know that he is mufla is a tremendous knowledge, but it does not affect their inside, their intellect, their experience. Eikshu mufla means they actually see the hafloa itself. the fact of it. How he is very, very supreme. And they, the Malachim, the Srofim, comprehend. The word Masigim means comprehend, because Masigim means they actually grasp. The description and how the flow of Yisrael, how the Yisrael is mufla, how it is remote from all existence. How Yisrael is mufla. Mufla means remote. Not higher, but remote. In a different realm completely of existence as we know it in the world. Or as the Malachim know it in the world. And as a result of this knowledge, they are in a state of rotzu, in a state of a powerful draw. And what are they drawn to? To be incorporated by Atzmus in the etzem of Ein Sof. They only want to be included and be part of and be inside of the Atzmus Ein Sof. Because they comprehend the remoteness of this truth, and they comprehend also the very phenomenon of his being remote. Not that that it's higher, but they actually recognize this remoteness element itself. Let me give you an example. Let us focus in on the word eich. Very important. This is the use all the time. A 1,000 miles is a long distance. Typically, 1,000 miles in our best moving facility, 1,000 miles takes 2 hours. An airplane can cover 1,000 miles in 2 hours. It's a tremendous distance. But it is a distance that is measurable. It falls into the category, with our category of distance. If we were to contemplate what's the difference between us and the sky, that distance is not definable in terms of miles, in terms of distance. It's a different realm completely. We see it, we observe it, we are impressed by its glory and by its beauty. Wherever we turn, we see it. It encompasses the entire existence. No one is going to attempt to describe it in terms of miles. It doesn't fit into that category. Because it's inaccessible. Not because of its distance. It's accessible, it's in a different realm of reality. It's never-ending presence. This is, so to speak, in our physical world, our physical experience, gives us an idea of something that is remote, even though we experience something remote from our means of comprehension. And this is why we always wonder. We are very, very affected by the sight of the beautiful sky. No matter how much we look at it, how many times we see it. It's very uplifting, no matter when we see it. Yes, we call it in terms of distance, but it's not a distance in the worldly terms, in the earthly terms. It's worldly, but it's not earthly terms. How did the sky get to where it is? It didn't get there. Didn't get there. This is where it is. This is its reality. This is the concept of mufla. So this is totally within our observation, within our physical world. This is why we have Milo, Mato, up and down, and the four sides, and all sides. And Milo is extremely important for us to recognize, to be able to lift up your eyes, lift your eyes on the upwards. Like you mentioned many times, one of the great kindness that the Rebbe has bestowed upon the human being is that he, as he is standing, as he is experiencing his earthly experience, he is always conscious, aware of the sky that encompasses his earth. That gives the earth a completely different sense of reality. It's not just earthly. There's something more to it. And this is the eich. It's an actual it's an actual experience of something remote. Malachim are masing eich she'erin soif mufla. Means the actual experience of the haflo. When you experience haflo, that arouses a powerful draw to leave your earthly boundaries and to rise up to that glory. Yes, absolutely.
So by looking up on the sky, there we have a motion of eich. Is that correct?
This is in our realm. This is the malachim don't look up at the sky. This is for us. It's a muscle for the eich. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we actually see it remotely with this distance. And we also recognize that this distance is not a distance that can be covered. And we don't think in terms of how far is it. It's a distance that's mufla, that is remote from distance. That would be a moshel for understanding the haflo of Ein Sof. Ein Sof did not get to where it is. This is what it is. And this is what creates by the malachim a rotzu, a powerful draw to want to be included, incorporated in Atmos and in Sof. That's a real thing. Ukmeisha Kosov, just a moment, for Ukmeisha Kosov, as the Pasuk says, Mi li bashamai. Me li b'shamayim. What is for me in the shamayim, in the heavens? What do I need? What am I interested in the heavens for? What do I have in the heavens? I'm going to finish this line. Which means they do not want, they not consent to remain in the ha'ora, in the reflection of the Ein but rather he called it to be incorporated by Atzmus in the Atzim of the Meibos. Not just to be an observer of his greatness, but to be part of it. Okay. This is it for this morning. Yes, you have a question? Okay. All right, this is it for this morning.
AYIN